be the spark of hope. سباركس ايفنت سنوي بحضروه طلاب جريد 12 السينيورز بالتنسيق مع الليدرشيب كلوب. هي تالت سنة بينعمل الايفنت، بس مثل ما شايفين هالسنة عنده صبغة مختلفة، صبغة صرنا شوي متعودين عليها، وهي انه الايفنت اونلاين او فيرتشوال. قررنا نعمله ونتحدى الظروف كرمال نقلكن انه صح نحن عشنا القمرين بين ثورة 17 تشرين وكورونا، بس لقينا انه بتنيناتهم في امل. ثورة 17 تشرين خلت المدن اللبنانية تعج بمواطنين واعوا على حقوقهم اللي صار لها سنين منتهكة، وبشباب طامح حط ايده بايد المجتمع المدني ليقول انه شأنه من الشأن العام، وانه لا نحن مش جيل اخر همنا على اولاد كتار، وبالمغتربين اللبنانيين يلي رجعوا على ارض وطنهم وعلى حضن امهم ليقولوا نحن تركناك يا لبنان لنحقق احلامنا وطموحاتنا لنرفع رايتك انت بالعالي، وبين كورونا يلي رجعت المدن اللبنانية تعج بصوت العصافير. اسمحوا لي قلكن انه نحن جيل وعينا على صوت الزمامير وعلى سما بحياتها كانت صافية وزرقاء وعلى نمط حياة سريعة كتير. كنا بحاجة لبريك نلقط نفسنا، نقعد مع عيالنا، نقعد مع حالنا، نفكر ببكرة أحلى. بكرة أحلى إيه؟ لأنه لبنان قطع بمحن وأزمات كتار، بس من بعده مزهر، لأنه ما في ليل ما في بعده نهار، وما في نفق مسدود إلا ليكون في بآخره مخرج نور. كرمال هيك نحن تفائلنا وتمسكنا بهيدا المخرج، وبدنا اياكم انتو كمان تعملوا نفس الشي ليكون عنا القوة والعزيمة لنقدر نكفي مثل ما عم نجرب نعمل. ثانك يو كتير انكم عم تحضرونا، وان شاء الله تحبوا الايفنت.
اليوم حنعمل ورشة كتابة شعرية هدفها تخليكم تشوفوا الإيجابية الموجودة حوالينا. هلأ لنبلش بهذا الورشة نحن بحاجة لورقة وقلم، بدي اياكم تدونوا كل الملاحظات اللي أنا عم خبركم إياها. أولا نحن بدنا نبلش بالشعور اللي نحن حابين نوصله. نحن اليوم هدفنا أو الشعور اللي بدنا نحكي عنه هو الأمل، فخلي كل مفرداتنا وكل حواسنا تفكر بفكرة الأمل. هلأ بدي منكم تكتبوا الأفكار اللي بتخطر عبالكم، بستقلكم المصطلحات التالية. أولا لون عيون أمنا وأبونا، أمور بتعملن إيدين أمي، أمور بتعملن إيدين بيي، 3 أمور بتفرحنا، 3 أمور بتزعلنا، تفاصيل بتذكرنا بالوطن أو بأي مكان منحبه، بدي نفكر بذكرى سعيدة وذكرى حزينة، وفي هاي أشياء ممكن تحسن لنا الشعر اللي نحن عم نكتبه، إنه نفكر شو منحب أكتر، الشمس أو القمر، الليل أو النهار، أو المدينة أو القرية. هلأ هالأفكار اللي نحن حكينا عنهم واللي انتو المفروض تكتبون بعد ما نخلص هيدي الورشة، بدنا نجمعهم بالمصطلحات التالية: أنا، من، أو أنا أنتمي إلى، أو أنا كذا. وهلأ لتفهموا أكتر كيف لازم تربطوا الأفكار ببعضها، أنا حقرأ لكم الشعر اللي أنا كتبته، بتمنى يعجبكم. هو بيتمحور حول موضوع الأمل. أنا الجرأة في عيني والدتي، والحنان في عيني والدي. أنا أيدي أمي حين تزين البيت بحبها، وأنا أصابع والدي عندما يصلح أغراض البيت بدقة وإتقان. أنا السماء بكل ألوانها وحالاتها عند الشروق وعند الغروب، وأنا عبق الياسمين الذي يحمله النسيم البارد عند أذان الفجر. أنتمي إلى أرض شعبها ثوار مجاهد، يحب الموسيقى والرقص والتبولة والميزة. تنبع سعادتي من ابتسامة أحبابي التي تولد في الأمل. وأنا من يحول الدمار إلى فن، لأنني أرفض الاستسلام إلى الظروف، وأفضل أن أرسم لوحة مفعمة بالجمال بتمنى يكون عجبكم الشعر اللي قريت لكم إياه، وبتمنى عن جد تشاركون الأشعار اللي أنتو كتبتوها عبر بريد الإلكتروني. وآخر شي بدي أذكركم إنه الأمل دايما موجود حوالينا، بس نحنا لازم دايما نفتش عليه. وشكرا كتير لكم.
Hi everyone. So I'm pretty sure with the coronavirus pandemic going on, I'm pretty sure you guys saw enough videos relative to corona. See, but I want to go further on that idea. Well, let's just say about hundreds of years ago, if someone were to catch a deadly virus, he or she would be considered dead. And as a matter of fact, let's say I'm living on this side of the country and my family's on this side of the country. And if I wanted to send them a message, I had to wait for days for it to go and come back. And let's say I wanted to visit them, days inside a car or a camel or whatever can move. And at a certain point of time, someone got up and said, why can't I just fly from here to there? And then we got airplanes. Why can't I just open a phone and dial the number I want, call whoever I want, the moment I want? We have cell phones. Why can't I cure any virus? We've seen what the institutions, what the biological institutions are trying to do to fight the current virus and what the previous viruses have done. Ladies and gentlemen, where is all of this coming from? Albert Einstein once said that imagination is a preview to life's upcoming attractions. Your imagination, as a matter of fact, is very, very real. There is nothing you cannot imagine that cannot come to this world. It's just a matter of time, perception, hard work, consistency. Everything we are living in right now was once just a tiny thought inside someone's mind. Just a tiny thought. The houses, the buildings, the airplanes, everything around us was just a tiny thought inside someone's mind. So what does it take to change the world? 5 seconds of your time. Just close your eyes and think of something. And that tiny thought will one day become a reality. I just want everyone to, in this coronavirus pandemic, to just keep going, keep pushing forward, and just acknowledge the power of your imagination. Thank you.
Marhaba. I'm Dr. Wael Salemi and I'm a clinical psychiatrist, and I wanted to reach out to the secondary division students of the St. Mary's Orthodox School. As everybody knows, we're going through a very difficult time at the moment, especially in Lebanon, given the underlying problems that have evolved over the past year, starting with the revolution that began in October 2017, in addition to the financial problems that the country is facing, and then to end up with the COVID-19 and the consequent lockdown. So I think a large amount or a large number of students are definitely facing many challenges, many anxieties, many symptoms that maybe they haven't experienced in the past, or maybe that they have experienced but now that seem to be on the rise. So I wanted to take a few minutes just to explain to you a bit about how to go through what's going on at the moment, how to deal with the lockdown, how to try and deal with the post-lockdown phase, which actually may be the most difficult period to come. So, as we all know, the country has been locked down since around the middle of March, which brings us at almost 2 consecutive months or 60 days. And it's very important, I always refer to a quote that says, it takes 21 days to form a habit, it takes 90 days to change a lifestyle. We've already gone beyond the 21 days. What does that mean to us? What it means is that if we get to the 90-day point, or 3 months in total, we will have developed new lifestyle techniques or new lifestyles which we will adopt on a daily basis. And that can range from being extremely avoidant to becoming extremely fearful of shaking hands with people, to even being afraid of going to supermarkets or going to the movies or going to malls or anywhere where there are crowded areas. So it's very important that we always try and keep in perspective the reality of things. And while the COVID-19 is an extremely fearful or an extremely scary pandemic, it's also very important to realize that this is the first pandemic that was actually defined as an infodemic, meaning that a significant proportion of the fear related to this is because of the mass media coverage. If we look at some of the bigger things such as the plague, the Black Plague, the Spanish flu, many illnesses and viruses came across humanity, and they took away many lives, far more than those that we're seeing lost to the COVID-19. What makes the COVID-19 different than most other pandemics is the amount of media coverage. And this is where your role comes in. You need to be wise in knowing where to seek information. You need to know which sources are reliable versus which ones are not. And you need to know how to filter out information that you are bombarded with on a daily basis. That's the first piece of advice. Make sure to limit the amount of information that you're receiving. Make sure to know the right sources. Always refer to official sources. Don't rely on messages that you get in WhatsApp groups or via Skype or via Facebook posts. Refer to the CDC, refer to the World Health Organization, or in the case of Lebanon as well, refer to the public results or the public announcements that are coming from the Ministry of Health. Another important item that I would love for everybody to tackle, and specifically senior students this year, is that it's normal to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration about how to deal with the year to come. A lot of you have questions about whether you're going to have exams. If these exams are done online or virtually, will they be counted? How is this going to impact your application process to universities both in Lebanon and abroad? And maybe that's one of the good points about the COVID-19, that it's not only touching us in Lebanon, it's impacting the world altogether. So just as we have to make exceptions, everybody around the globe is going to be making exceptions. Yes, it is going to be a challenging time. Yes, it is going to be associated with a lot of frustrations, especially related to future decisions like where to go, where to study, how you will be able to apply, and which universities you will be able to have access to. But at the same time, as we gradually approach the opening up of the lockdown across the world, and as you've been seeing lately, several countries in Europe have started to open their boundaries to one another within the European Union, and gradually they're going to open to the rest of the world. And the same is undoubtedly going to happen here in Lebanon. So it's just a matter of time before our life returns to its baseline or its normal state. So yes, your anxieties are very justified, your fears are very normal, but it's very important to keep in mind, again, that you are not alone. Everybody is fearing the same thing. We all share the same concerns, whether you as students, us as being responsible for providing you with healthcare services, or the school administration. Everybody does care about where you end up and what is best for you. And what can be best for you at the moment is that you keep, as much as possible, your positive spirit. You understand that this, like many other phases throughout history, is going to pass. This is just a turning point, and it is undoubtedly going to be a turning point that one day you will be able to share with younger generations. It's very important, as I said, to pay attention to the period that may come after the COVID-19. And here we talk mainly about something called post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or adjustment disorder. We expect that many individuals will develop adjustment disorder, or as it's referred to in Arabic, حالة صعوبة تأقلمية. Adjustment disorder, from its name, is related to having difficulty adjusting to a new status quo, meaning that once they say that it's okay to go back to malls and to being in crowded elevators and being in supermarkets, let's say, without the masks and without gloves, how comfortable are you going to be in doing that? How comfortable are you going to be when somebody coughs in the elevator next to you? How comfortable are you going to be when somebody spikes a fever in class? These are all normal fears. And as long as they last within a 6-month period, this is an adjustment disorder that will pass. If these symptoms last beyond 6 months, this is where you need to start think about seeking attention. So again, symptoms will not subside once the pandemic subsides. It is normal for these symptoms to continue for another 6 months. Never lose faith and never lose hope, both in society, but above all in yourself and in what you have to offer. You've made it this far, you've studied this hard, and you are the future of the country. So make sure that you fight against the COVID-19, make sure that you fight for the future that you want and that you undoubtedly deserve, and make sure that you fight for a better tomorrow that maybe we haven't been able to provide for ourselves. To the class or the graduates of the St. Mary's Orthodox College, I wish you the very, very best for the year of 2020, and I undoubtedly believe that this year is going to be much better than it had started out for.
أحيانا قد نظن أن لا أمل لنا في هذه الدنيا، مما يقودنا للغرق في بحر الماضي والعم بالذكريات المليئة بالشجن والحزن. الناس نوعين، نوع يرى الحياة تعاسة وأزمات، والنوع الآخر يراها مغامرة، وهنا يكمن قرارنا بمن سنكون. إنه صحيح للغاية أننا قد نتعثر ونواجه مشكلات تؤلمنا، ولكن أيعني ذلك أن نبقي يدينا تعزف على أوتار الماضي، أم نركب سفينة الحاضر ونوجه المجاديف نحو المستقبل؟ علينا أن نحدد السبب الرئيسي الذي يشعرنا بذلك الضعف، فهذا الأمر هو بداية لحل الأزمة، وبعدها نتقبل بأنها حدثت وانتهت ولن تعود، فنحن بإرادتنا وقوتنا نستطيع أن نتقبلها، لأن أفكارنا هي التي تتحكم بما نشعر به. إن نظرنا حولنا سنرى أننا مكافئون على عدة أصعدة، ولكن إن جعلنا أعيننا تحدق فقط على ما لا نملكه ستضيع قيمة ما نملكه. تقبل أن الماضي لا يعود ولا يتغير، والأحداث ستبقى نفسها، وقم باستغلالها تتفادى المشكلات في المستقبل. ولا تنسى بأن أسعد الأشخاص هم من تصالحوا مع ماضيهم وسعوا لتحقيق أهدافهم، فدائما هناك أمل، وفي نهاية كل كهف مظلم نور. فكما اليرقة تصبح فراشة وكما الزهرة تتفتح، نحن جميعنا نستطيع أن نزهر ونضيء إن نظرنا إلى الجانب الإيجابي بدل من الإصرار على التفكير السلبي. فالحياة مغامرة، عشها كاملة ولا تترك باب الماضي، فمن ترك باب الماضي أضاع المستقبل. شكرا.
In the game of life, there's only one result. No matter what weapons you have or money you had gained, and that is death. What matters the most is not the fact that we are going to die in the end, but the journey of our lives. That courage is what matters. Why? Well, because you never know if there really is another life after the one you had lived. Maybe the one you are living right now is your last chance. School taught us many things, one of which is opportunity cost. I was taught that every decision I make has a cost. If I chose to live by the expectations of the people around me, I would be paying the cost of living miserably for the rest of my life. And the hardest way of living is just taking breath to stay. One single moment is enough to convince yourself to jump in, because you wanted to prove that the spark you had wasn't dead inside. You can bury your passion and dreams, but you'll end up living in monotone. I would rather aim high and never reach my destination than to live in a metaphorical bubble of existence. The world is a canvas, and it needs a print. Only you can leave a mark on it. There are millions of stars in the sky, but what makes you different is that you are more vibrant than everyone else. Do not hesitate to take the risk. We only have today. In fact, we only have now.
For joining today's debate, which will be on the power of the media and its role during crisis or times of unrest. Before I pass the floor to our panelists, let's quickly go over the power of the media. As we all know, the media are communication tools through which information is disseminated. The media's power can surface in a number of forms. It plays an integral role in filtering subjects, portraying issues, and defining what audience understand and think. Therefore, the media carries the responsibility of easing people's perception of topics relevant to their lives, communities, and countries. The following debate will be presented by Seniors 2020, and it will examine the role of the media and the discussed power during times of unrest. I leave the floor to the panelists.
Thank you. Ever since the beginning of the pandemic, we have been experiencing a brand new side to the media, a side not only dedicated to the entertainment part of it, but also on the informatic part. Media has integrated our fight against the virus through awareness, that has celebrated the culture of social distancing in a way that many events, jobs, and conferences are proven to be as effective online as in real life. Because of the media, the conservation of the economy and using it as a more fragile entity is now a necessity. The investments when it comes to online businesses will now be more reliable, and it could even be said that the media is not only improving on the short term, but also improving our society on the long-term prospect.
Although what you said, Muhammad, might be true, but after the President of the United States reported numerous cases which can be a potential cure for coronavirus, the media was able to twist his words, making several people misunderstanding this issue. Thus, the health authorities in New York reported an unusually high number of poisoned people due to ingesting bleach. Thus, media at times can be blamed for overreacting and negatively affecting its audience by spreading panic, causing anxiety and stress pressure. Thank you.
Increasing death tolls, stock market failure, and the maps quickly sketching the infection's growth is the recipe for the panic around. The same panic that led to a drop of coronavirus cases from 82,857 to 87 current active cases in China, a statistic according to Worldometer. While you consider it cynical, panic is the engine that propelled authorities to take inevitable actions to battle the virus. Panic was and still is necessary to ensure that the instructions and precautions about risks and behaviors essential to ally fears of catching the virus are unquestionably executed. The panic that you are coming against is the only solution paving the way for us out of this pandemic.
While this might be true, Ayla, but for every expert trying to share accurate information, there are many users spreading rumors and other forms of misinformation. This will create a dilemma concerning what to abide by to protect ourselves. As Daniel Rogers once says, it pulls everyone out of the woodwork.
It is known for a fact that media platforms depend on credible government sources that allow the audience to trust media outlets and thus lessen the anxiety spread. Hence, media platforms perform their duties of unbiased report acts. For instance, Lebanese television channels depend on the National Operation Room, which is a governmental unit that works in managing disasters and responding to the current crisis to get its daily reports and then
Although Sabine does have a point, let's try to keep in mind that even if these governments do have trusted sources, these governments themselves may still choose to release false information as a manner of either bettering their own image or even instigating political tensions elsewhere. Let's take the example of Russia's claim that the United States did manufacture the coronavirus as a form of economical warfare on China, which has yet to have been proven biologically and thus plays a role in political propaganda. Thank you.
Thank you all for this amazing presentation. The opinions on the role and power of the media, as we also had different takes from our panelists. Some of you guys consider that the media plays an integral role in spreading unbiased facts, and others considered that no, the media actually spread false information during times of unrest. While there is no right or it is important to keep in mind that there is no absolute truth. And when it comes to the media, we need to remember medium is not a robot, which means that editors have the responsibility to decide what news stories will be reported on, and then journalists report on these stories. Aside from the censorship and the personal biases that does affect the reported news, the media thus has a number of challenges and threats that it also faces. For example, commercial pressures, political pressures, and any other financial pressure. If we were to take Lebanon as an example, TV channels are owned by political parties, agenda of its respective party, creating threat to the unbiasedness of a news story. Another threat to the media is the dilemma we as journalists face on a daily basis. Should we go for speed or should we go for quality and risk that our news will no longer be new? This leads to the threat of spreading false information for the sake of putting the news first out there. But it's also important to keep in mind that while false information is sometimes spread unintentionally for different reasons, sometimes fake news and false information is spread for intentional reasons. Now, I can go on and on about the threats that the media face, but there's never enough time to talk about it or about its possible solution. But I would like to end with two solutions for these threats that start from every single person from us. The first solution is being media literate and acting as media literate individuals. Media literacy is defined by people's ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create content. So it's your duty as consumers and producers to act media literate and help others become more media literate. And the second solution is to think from a peace journalism perspective whenever you're sharing any news story or you're creating content yourself. So for the sake of preserving the good of society, before sharing a news story or creating one, always ask yourself, what benefit is this story adding to society? What added knowledge is it created? Are we actually adding something, or is it only nothing? If it's nothing, why publish it? How can I deliver this piece differently in a more peaceful or neutral manners? What words do I use? Do I use passive or active voice, and so on? The key is thus to evaluate, analyze, and critique to help in creating their content. Thank you all, but before we end today's session, our seniors have prepared a video of motivational clips that we will be seeing before we conclude. Thank you again.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
All right.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
Be yourself. That's it. Be you. Who are you? Where are you today? What is your story? Where does that come from?
I just wanted to be like you.
And I wanted you to be better.
I want to say you are not defined by an Instagram photo, by a like, by a comment.
I don't want to see your bodies on Instagram. I want to see what's in here.
Encouragement that can come from so many can add value for those that may need a little push.
If it's about survival, isn't a little agony worth it?
It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you.
I'm a survivor.
Times one must break the rules in order to serve the greater good.
Find a light in every dark tunnel.
You gotta put your past behind you. Look, kid, bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
Wrong! When the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
How we choose to perceive things can either pave our way to success or stop us from accomplishing our dreams. Igniting a flame needs only a spark.